Being a soldier in the Emperor's service seems like a job filled with honor, respect, and prestige, right? Well, not quite. Despite their glory and fame, Space Marines harbor a dark, hidden truth inside them. And hardship? It's just like their shadow, never leaves till death. And the reality of a Space Marine's life always comes crashing down. It basically starts with the recruitment phase, and with that, their old life is erased. No warm welcome, just a brutal initiation meant to break them. The weak die, the unlucky shatter, and the survivors? Their reward is more suffering. There are no Space Marines who grew up in the comfort of a noble estate. No warriors forged in the luxury of towering spires overlooking glittering oceans. No recruit was ever chosen from the great scholastic halls where philosophers debated the nature of the soul over glasses of fine amasec. The Imperium does not sift through its wealthy core worlds in search of champions. It does not take its future warriors from planets where life is easy, where survival is a given, where a child can grow up without ever knowing the taste of blood or the weight of hunger. There is no strength to be found in comfort. No steel is tempered in calm waters. Among them, the ones who become Astartes are not born into peace. They come from the fringes of human civilization, from the worst places imaginable, planets where life itself is a war. Firstly, the hive worlds, where the sky is hidden behind layers of smog so thick the sun is a myth, where every breath is laced with toxins, and the only law is the strength to take what you want. Cities so vast and so ancient that their lowest levels have never seen light, where the air is thick with the stench of decay, and entire generations live and die in endless darkness, clawing out an existence among the filth. There, children do not play, they fight, they kill. They learn that weakness is a death sentence and trust is a fool's gamble. Then there are the feral worlds, places where civilization is nothing more than a whisper on the wind. Here, survival is not a right, it is an achievement, a battle fought every single day. The strong rule, the weak are trampled, and mercy is as alien as the stars above. These worlds breed killers from birth. The boy who fails to bring down his first prey dies of hunger. The girl who cannot wield a blade is slaughtered when the raiders come. Every scar is a lesson, every broken bone a warning. And those who endure, they are monsters in human skin, their hands stained with blood before they even understand what life truly means. Just when everyone thinks it can't get any worse, it does. Next, there are the death worlds. If the hive cities are choked with poison, and the feral worlds ruled by blood, then these planets are something else entirely, hell-given form, places where the very land seeks to consume you. The trees bleed acid. The rivers run thick with parasites that can hollow a man from the inside out. Even the soil is treacherous, shifting beneath unsuspecting feet, swallowing entire villages without a trace. The predators here do not simply hunt, they exterminate. Beasts with eyes that glow like dying embers, with claws that cut through armor, with hunger that never fades. The people who are unfortunate enough to be born here are not truly people. They are survivors, forged in an unending war against a world that does not want them. If a child reaches adulthood in a death world, they are already something more than human. They are warriors, whether they wish to be or not. And even if they somehow manage to survive it all, survival alone is not enough. There's always more to endure. Living through hell does not make one worthy of the Emperor's service. Strength alone is meaningless. The Imperium does not want those who simply endure. It wants those who prove themselves. A child who has lived through the nightmare of a hive city might be overlooked, unless they have already carved a path through the bodies of those who stood in their way. A boy from a feral world is nothing until he has slain something greater than himself. Perhaps a beast 3 times his size. Perhaps an entire war band. Perhaps his own father. A girl from a death world does not earn her place just by seeing another sunrise. She earns it when she faces the horrors of her world and does not flinch. When she stands where others run. When she kills without hesitation, without remorse. Perhaps it was a feat of strength. A child, no more than 10, standing over the mangled corpse of a predator that had terrorized his village for years, his small hands slick with blood, his body broken but his eyes burning with something ancient, something dangerous. Perhaps it was cunning, a warlord brought to ruin, not by battle, but by the whisper of a child who knew how to turn allies into enemies, how to twist words into daggers, how to orchestrate the downfall of a man twice his age without ever lifting a blade. Or maybe it was something else entirely. A test, unseen and unnoticed, a trial set in motion by forces beyond mortal understanding, and a recruiter watching from the shadows, studying not just their strength, not just their intelligence, but something deeper, something in their eyes, in the way they carry themselves, in the way they refuse to die when all reason says they should. Whatever the reason, someone noticed. And that is how the real hardship begins. Speaking of hardship, the selection process isn't about skill or potential. It's about endurance. There's no written exam, no orderly training program. Some recruits are thrown into pits and forced to fight to the death with their bare hands. Others are sent into wastelands with no food, no weapons, and no hope. The only instruction? Survive, if you can. And then there are the ones who face the worst fate of all, combat against full-fledged Space Marines. These aren't trials meant to prepare them for battle. They're culling exercises, designed to eliminate the weak before they waste any more resources. The fights last seconds. The survivors walk away, knowing one thing: there is no mercy in this life. But that's not all. Even then, the torment isn't over. The psychological trials make the physical ones look like a warm-up. They take the worst fears, the deepest traumas, and magnify them until they break. Crying is a weakness. Flinching is failure. Pain is ignored. Those who break are discarded, forgotten as if they never existed. The ones who endure, they aren't lucky. They're just next in line for something even worse. And now, the hardest part is yet to come: the transformation. The transformation is agony beyond comprehension. Then again, the gene seed does not merely alter them, it destroys them, tearing them apart from the inside out and rebuilding them into something else. Their organs swell, grotesquely reshaping themselves to accommodate functions no human body was ever meant to endure. Their bones stretch, crack, and reknit, reinforcing themselves into a framework that can withstand impacts that would pulp an unaltered man. Also, their muscles thicken at an unnatural pace, sinew and fiber twisting into something engineered for war, and the pain tolerance is rewritten until wounds that should be fatal barely register, until agony becomes as familiar as breath. Even their blood is no longer blood. It is something artificial, something crafted. It moves through them not just to sustain, but to fuel. It clots faster, heals faster, adapts faster. The first wounds of transformation are the last ones that will ever truly matter. But what was all this for? For what purpose? For whom? The Emperor. This guy doesn't even know the name of the warriors who sacrificed their lives for him. So, there is no recognition, no reward, no moment of gratitude. There is only duty. Duty until there is nothing left of them. However, even in this bleak endless existence, something remains the same. The memories of victories that should have been impossible, yet were won. The moments where they stood alone against the tide and did not fall. The battles that should have ended in death, but did not. The impossible defiance of surviving when no one else could. Perhaps it is not enough. Perhaps it never will be. But it is something else. And in a universe that offers nothing else, it will have to do.